My name is Rhapsody and welcome back to SpellRogue, where we're playing Lapis with the signature D build. That is the signature spell Cryogenesis on a 1 to a 4, or rather accepts a 1 to a 4, 2 times a turn. On an odd, reroll the dice. On an even, return the dice with Icy. There's also Hoarfrost. Accepts evens, gain X block. On a 2, you also gain 2 delayed block. And then Glacial Sphere. For 4, countdown, 3 times a turn, deal 5 damage. I have a lot of builds I still want to do with this character. I need to stop locking myself out of taking things though, because it can be pretty bad. Let's take Adaptation. For every boss defeated, enemy start with +2 power. Diminishment, remove 1 charge from the leftmost spell. 4 sap on turn 1. That just basically means no defending on turn 1. Yikes. Unless you use weakness to do it. Start with 1 fewer spell slot. Seems usable. Even if not ideal. I don't want to take Bloodletting because I am wary of actually bleeding out. I could take Inhibition, Fumble, and Escalation. So on turn 3, I receive 2 Rupture. On turn 2, I receive 1 Fumble, so I roll a fewer die. 1 fewer die on that turn. I can only cast 8 spells a turn with Inhibition. And I start with 1 fewer spell slot. Yep. Only 8 spells a turn. That seems like a reasonable limit that I can stay under comfortably, without worrying. I'm already worried. Tidal Talisman. On turn 1, roll an additional die. There's also Ocean's Oath, roll 10 die to gain 2 block, or Glacier's Heart. Apply Glacial to a random spell. It's additional defense, but I don't need additional defense to start with here. I think Tidal Talisman's probably best here. So that I can try and generate some additional value with that additional die on turn 1. To roll into the later turns comfortably. Oh, unfortunately the path that gets 2 elites also gets 2 shops, unless I avoid an early event opportunity. So I guess I will. I mean, comfortably, this turn gives us the ability to Cryogenesis return a Glacial Sphere. And then also Cryogenesis return some delayed block for the next turn. When Cryogenesis returns a dice with Icy, that dice... Ooh, wow. That dice will give you its value in Fury when spent in the spell. And that gives you the value in Fury before the spell triggers as well. So if you put in an attack, it gives that extra damage to the attack. Crush. That's just a bigger version of Glacial Sphere. It's asking for 4. 3 times a turn, it'll deal 8 damage rather than 5 damage. There's also Glaciate here. Accepts a 1 to a 5 once a turn, gain X block and X delayed block, and then Water Vortex. I'm actually interested in just taking Crush. Why not? 8 damage seems like a good amount to do, and in fact it is. It's enough to take out a Corrupt Brute immediately by itself. And if I Cryogenesis, I can even take out another unit, and then set up for the final Corrupt Friar. It's just you and I, bud. You're stunned. I would be too if all my siblings had died. I was setting up a snare the entire time. Chemical reaction. Remove X poison. Apply 2 weak to the target. Glaciate and prescience. 9 countdown. Once a turn. Gain 2 foresight. I'll take prescience. And we'll have Hoarfrost be the one that depletes itself, or diminishes itself, rather. Let's reroll this 1 via Cryogenesis. I'll also give a 2 Icy. Annoying. It wasn't really a good opportunity for taking more targets off the field that turn, rather than just setting up for the next turn to do it. Because I did not get a 4. 4s are so valuable in this build. Crystal Snort, gain 3 power. Icicle Blade, deal 5 damage, increase the damage by 1 this combat. We could also have that Icicle Blade deal 5 damage and increase its damage by 4 this combat, but only be castable once per turn. Yeah. That gets pretty big pretty quickly. Don't know if it goes into the build just yet. No, I'll put it into the build immediately. Then we'll head to this elite battle. I see, you tend to intensify. That's okay. We can use Cryogenesis. I only need to crush once this turn. Let's also reroll this 3, looking for something better. Yeah, that'll do it. So I'll crush the enemy once. Icicle them once and set up for another crush on later turn. Unfortunately, I'm not setting up for Hoarfrost at all. I don't really intend to. Just gonna kind of blast my way through this fight. Frustratingly, I can do 16 damage this turn, or I can do 9. Unfortunately, this then makes Icicle Blade much less likely to be potent throughout the rest of this fight. Sure, I'll Hoarfrost twice, and then throw another crush at you. Taking 12 damage, you are now going to take another Intensify turn, so as long as I get really aggressive, we'll be fine here. And in fact, we do exact damage lethal. Gain a 9 skin potion for 12 block. That would have been really useful in that turn. Polar Nexus. Gain 1 fury for each block. Not really where I intend to go with this build, but does give me an out. Tempest. Cast 3 countdown spells. Give -3 to the leftmost countdown spell. Or a shard. I mean, I do like Tempest. think I need the additional shard right now. And I'll spend that shard in something that I don't want to keep. Maybe we make Crush deal 18 damage and be unrestorable. And then I'll destroy that in the shop. Oh, actually, no, I destroy it later. I destroy it right before the boss at the end of this floor, I think. Alright. Fumble this turn. Still capable of defending, and then crushing to take out the enemy. That gets us to a shop. Riptide, 10, but also deal 4 damage increased by 1 for each dice roll this turn. Don't really like that. I'm going to take Glaciate, which is going to replace Hoarfrost. Unfortunately, Glaciate's not going to be capable of holding any diminishing effects. Illumine Necklace, for each 3 attack spells cast in a single turn, deal 10 damage for random enemy. And then also Death Mask for each 3 attack spells cast in a single turn. Apply 1 weak to all enemies. I would love to abuse both of those. I would love to pivot this build such that I'm doing as many attacks per turn as would really work here. There's Rime Hail as well, which could go with Polar Nexus to try and make a build. But that build doesn't attack that many times is the thing. I don't think I can do both of those. I think I can take the Ghost Charm and Rime Hail and then run away with those. Selling Crush and Hoarfrost and Glacial Sphere and Prescience. And I'll take Rime Hail. It's gonna be difficult to get there, but there's a build here somewhere. Glaciate giving the additional delayed block would make it much easier to use a Polar Nexus at the start of one's turn, gaining additional fury and then just thumping the enemy with a Rime Hail. This is such a bad idea, but I'm gonna buy it in case Azure. Wait, there's another battle there? Didn't even think about that. I bought in case Azure so that I would have a spell to give a shard to and then disenchant in just a second after this. Rime Hail, do I want Fury to count triple on it? Or do I want to regain half of the Fury after I use it so I can try and use Rime Hail again? Honestly, I think Glaciate needs the additional block first. We'll have an additional shard after the end of this combat. Oh, wow. Great setup for Cryogenesis. before in Cryogenesis. It gives us Icy. I'll put that same 4 back in Cryogenesis to gain 4 Fury. And then put that 4 in Glaciate to gain 7 block and 7 delayed block. Rime Hail is ready to do 19 damage on its lonesome. Unfortunately, I do need to roll a 3 to facilitate it. I do not roll a 3. We roll this one via Cryogenesis. We get a 5. That's good for Glaciate. And in fact, I can use an Icicle Blade to target Carrion Abomination again. Losing all of my Fury, unfortunately. But the Icicle Blade is now, what, like 3? Yeah, 3 hits from taking the backline enemy out. Oh, wow, great rolls there. That's a easy 5 for Glaciate. Actually, if I use this to take out one of the Toxic Oozes, now I've got a 17 damage Glacial Blade. Icicle Blade. I do 17 damage to the enemy, and then it will increase by 4, so it'll be 21. So 21 and 17 is enough to take out the Carrion Abomination in 2 strikes. So it was going to take me 3 strikes if I targeted it this turn, but it's 2 strikes if I take out a chump, and then just target it from now on out. So I get to avoid some damage here. Woohoo! Use Cryogenesis entirely unnecessarily here. Just gaining some additional damage on the target that was already going to take it, and then we'll finish you off with the Icicle Blade next turn. That'll do it. That's another shard for us, as well as another spell. So Ice Ward. I mean, Cold Snap's here, and Cold Snap is just a reasonable amount of Fury. Could be something I do instead of Polar Nexus. But Ice Ward invests 3 low die into it. You gain 3 block 3 times. Cast 3 spells, admittedly. But you also roll additional die afterwards. I do like Ice Ward a lot. And Cold Snap would be a good way to get Fury by itself, but I already have Polar Nexus, so with Ice Snap I can generate defense and then the die to also use Polar Nexus possibly afterwards. Storm in a Bottle. Cast 10 spells, gain Hailstorm. I don't really re-roll / roll that many times, but Hailstorm is Fury, and I do like Fury. I really wish I was capable of casting 10 spells in a single turn, but unfortunately I'm inhibited. You know what? I'm inhibited. I'm taking the shard. We're going for a much more straightforward version of this build. Gain additional space there. Ice Ward. Now, Ice Ward is the one that gets depleted. Woohoo! Unfortunately, that means I'm not going to be... I should have put that in case Azure, and then disenchanted in case Azure, and then opened the slot. It's fine. It's fine. I only need to do it one more time, and then I'll never need to artificially manufacture that account again. Oh, wow. We do have a Rime Hail here. That's pretty good. So Rime Hail is now solid 19 against the boss. I'll take it. Scaling up our Icicle Blade. Icicle Blade is now large enough to kill either of the Magma Suns as well. Good to see. If I glaciate here, I just prevent 4 damage. Otherwise, I take it. But I also get the 3 defense for the next turn. Sorry, the additional 6 defense for next turn. I don't want everything to gain some block. I will kill a chump there. Cryogenesis for a reroll, and that 5 is exactly what I wanted to see. That goes in Glaciate. And then I can even gain a little bit of Fury here. By using the Ignited Cryogenesis. Wow, I really don't have that many things I can use 6s on. It's going to become a pretty large problem pretty quickly. I mean, Cryogenesis. I will cast Icicle Blade first, just in case I get Rime Hail active for the next turn. Oh, there it is. Rime Hail for 19, and then Icicle Blade for 25, which I can actually gain a little bit of Fury using Cryogenesis in order to make that 26, so I can take out the Mother of Flames. Here's our full heal, some money, another shard. Dark Wraith Scythe. Oh god, I really want the Dark Wraith Scythe, I just can't take it. Leyline Focus. Roll an additional dice turn. On turn 1, all enemies gain 1 power. They're already going to have 2 power. Next, because of adaptation, you see. I don't think I can survive being Dark Wraith Scythed right now. After the next floor, I think I would, and I would probably be happy about it. The Icicle Blade would be ridiculous. I'm gonna take a reroll. Cast 12 spells. Nope. Curse Pendant. Roll a dice each turn. Each turn receive 3 weak. Or Amulet of Sacrifice. Each turn receive 1 sap. I can't be weakened. Sorry, I can't be sapped. I'm gonna have to be weakened. Alright, there's 1 to Elite Path, and it's got an early event. I do need more block from the Ice Ward, is the thing. The Glaciate's already increased in that. But also, if it rolls a bunch of additional die, I don't really have anything to do with them right now. I don't feel like I'm going to be able to survive without the additional defense on that, frankly. Hello, Imp Fanatics! You're repulsed, which means every time I cast a spell each turn, you receive 1 weak. Now, if only I could cast more spells. Legitimately, I have no die that are capable of going into Mana Socket. This is a nightmare. Use the Iron Skin Potion this turn. Still take 4 damage. Oh, still dodge 4 damage, thankfully, at the end of that. Okay, let's re-roll this one. Okay, and then we'll Cryogenesis the 2 from it. I really want to be able to block as well. 5 block this turn and 5 delayed block, or 6 block this turn. I'll take the one that gives delayed block as well, because I expect I'm going to have trouble defending next turn for some reason. It's absurd that this is what 6s would be good for, Polar Nexus right now. It's so far away. Still don't have the ability to spike Ice Ward a bunch of times. Hurrah! I've managed to prevent them from doing damage this turn. Icicle Blade is now huge! And with only one of you left on the board, this should start to become pretty simple. Didn't I have Diminishment? Remove 1 charge every second turn from the leftmost spell. I could have sworn it had full charges last turn. It, in this instance, being Ice Ward. And now we're set up for an Icicle Blade next turn as well. Yeah, these fights get pretty long in the tooth. This is not ideal for me. I may need a source of weaken. Well, hello. Contamination. Accepts a 5 to a 6. That is what I'm having trouble using right now. And it applies 3 poison. If the enemy is attacking, it applies 2 weak. Yep. I'll take it. Spell Echo. Next spell's cast twice. SpellRogue Shade. Instantly cast the target spell for the highest available value, and then Bloodbound Skin. I do like Bloodbound Skin here. But Spell Echo. Spell Echo on something like Polar Nexus. Or even Glaciate. I like the versatility of Spell Echo here. So I've dropped Rime Hail from the build. The intent is to put Rime Hail and Polar Nexus back into the build later. But right now, it's not actually that good for me. I have to get really lucky in rolling 4s for it to do anything. Anything. I'm just short of being able to afford that shard, but I will get Invoke Mana, and I do like Invoke Mana. A little less in a build where I have a Shattered Spellbook and the Inhibition, but I still like it. Perhaps it's time for me to get rid of Cryogenesis for Invoke Mana right now. Because I will be putting my pedal to the metal here in this next fight. Devil Assassin is gaining Malediction. Oh, we need to put the pedal to the metal in this fight. Absolutely. So this turn, I just need to Glaciate for the best value possible. I need to Icicle Blade the enemy, and I need to Contaminate them twice. I don't think I need to use Invoke Mana to do that. This other 5 would have to go into contamination. We're going to glaciate 4, which is good enough, and then icicle blade. Ice Ward is also going to be depleted of 1 charge next turn, so I'm looking for low rolls here ideally. That'll do. That will do. You put a 1 and a 3 into Ice Ward, developing 12 defense and rolling 2 additional die. They both give us 1s. That's frustrating, but it's okay. I can still cast an Icicle Blade, keeping that scaling, and then put a 1 in Glaciate in order to get some block this turn. Irrelevant, but some delayed block for the next turn. Relevant. Ooh, you devil. The enemy cursed my 5s. And as a result, they are now 4s, so I can't contaminate the enemy as much as I really wanted to. That would have been great. Unfortunately, we're also not capable of using all of the Ice Ward Spell Echo. I almost feel like I should re-roll everything right now. In fact, this is a pretty aggressive turn from the enemy. I am going to take the opportunity to re-roll all of my die, the 2 4s there. That's fine. A single 5 is good enough. Going to invoke mana. We get another 5 and we also get a 4 out of that. I'm going to gain Spell Echo in order to contaminate the enemy twice, giving them 6 poison and also weakening them for 4. Put a 1 into Ice Ward, rolling 2 additional new die. A 4 and a 2 goes in Icicle Blade, hitting the enemy for 10 and incrementing the Icicle Blade yet again, and then we Glaciate as well. That's great. Future Spell Echoes should be used on Icicle Blade to increase the speed at which it grows. 1 and a 3 in Ice Ward defends us heavily, as well as rolling 2 additional die. Single 5 in Icicle Blade. And then I can put a 5 in Glaciate, as well as double contaminate the enemy. No invocation of mana needed that turn. Ooh, a bunch of low die, eh? Put a 1 and a 1 and a 2 into Ice Warp. And then we're looking for something like a 3 and a 3 does Icicle Blade on the enemy. A 4 gives us the Glaciate value we're looking for. The enemy is gaining 8 additional Malediction. In 2 turns' time, they're going to be difficult to deal with. Thankfully, I'm not sure they get there. We're going to grant ourselves Spell Echo and then Icicle Blade you twice. Akashic Aqua accepts 2 evens and gives you 8 block. If you give it an 8, it also rolls. It also gives you 2 additional power. Ooh. If you give it a 6 and a 6, though, it'll give you 8 block and roll 2 icy dice after it's upgraded. I'll take Akashic Aqua. Sure. Spirit of Swiftness. Cast 10 spells, deal 6 damage to all enemies. Please stop giving me all of the things that want me to cast as many spells as possible when I'm inhibited as Azure. Not Azure, sorry, as Lapis. It's really mean. It makes me feel bad. Yeah, it's definitely something like a shard here, I say, as I pick the shard, because it is the shard. Take the additional open slot. I mean, Polynexus is eventually a reasonable amount of... I almost want to go Polynexus, Rime Hail, and then Akashic Aqua over Contamination. But I can't treat Rime Hail as my only damage. It almost feels like Invoke Mana is unnecessary at the moment. I could try and run these two builds parallel to one another. Maybe it's a Karshik Aqua that doesn't go in this build right now, and I drop that for Invoke Mana. Let's see how this pilots. Oh boy, that's a lot of damage they intend to do to me. And I do not have the ability to use full Ice Ward. I'm going to throw a 5 in Invoke Mana, looking for, yeah, some lower die, so I can actually triple Ice Ward and roll some additional die from that. Great. Then a 5 in Glaciate. And then a 6 in Polar Nexus. And then I can use Rime Hail to delete a target. Yeah, this feels like a pretty good build. This feels like it's got something going on. The frontliner is the Barbed Grub, and then there's all Spitting Grubs. The Spitting Grubs are going to be lowering our ability to defend. The Barbed Grub is going to gain Barbs itself. I would like to prevent my loss of HP as much as possible, please. And then I cast the final spell we're capable of casting this turn. An Icicle Blade. Yeah, Icicle Blade is so outmoded when this goes off correctly. That said, how reliable is it going off correctly? That's the next big question. Let's throw this 5 into Invoke Mana. I'm going to throw another 5 into Invoke Mana. Glaciate. I don't get another defense for the sake of Ice Ward, unfortunately. Can cast another Icicle Blade, and then after that I'll cast Polar Nexus. But I don't get to do anything conclusive. Let's use Rime Hail to take out the midline. And then I'm going to gain Spell Echo and Icicle Blade the backline twice, taking them out as well. Still not really rolling low enough the Ice Ward right now, unfortunately. That's okay. We do this turn. You know what? Sure. Let's over-defend ridiculously. Yep, that's why I wanted to do it. Glaciate. Polar Nexus. And then one big Icicle Blade for 62 damage. Split Potion. There's also Chill Core, Channel Azure, and Riptide. I really like Channel Azure. It's a really powerful defensive option. Gaining in Foresight for the next turn is also pretty good. There's also Chill Core here, though. On a 4 to a 6, gain 3 block. When depleted, apply 3 weak to all enemies. That seems like it'll be especially effective next floor. You know what? I'm going to take that and I'm going to replace Icicle Blade. And I'll replace Icicle Blade the next time I get to the ability to get the shard back from it. Right now, I think I'm still probably gaining enough value from having it as a shard. Yeah, like, it'll be pretty good against a Warlock, I could only imagine. Unless I generate enough Fury and I don't need it. Seeing the major flaw in this plan, you see. That's Ice Ward. I'm gonna Glaciate. Polar Nexus. And now Rime Hail for 50 damage to the frontliner. Spell Echo is ready next turn. 2 wands in Ice Ward gives us some defense as well as a reroll. Ooh, that's perfect. I'm gonna Glaciate with 2. 6 goes into the Polar Nexus, and then Rime Hail. Goodbye, Warlock. Yeah, Icicle Blade is extremely outmoded at this point. I had to expect that was going to become the case. Let's double cast Polar Nexus here. Setting up an Icicle Blade for 48 damage. Ooh, yeah. Rainfall, Mute, and lower countdowns. Oh, Crush and Poisonous Bile. I take a reroll if I care here. I don't care. I don't want to spend money if I can avoid it. I can either gain a Branding Tonic, I can pay 20 gold to gain a Strange Presence, or 75 gold to gain a Chaos Crystal, which is a artifact. On enemy death, roll a die. Sure. Sounds good to me. Ah, the crones. How could we get through this floor without crones? We'll throw a 1, a 2, and a 2 into Ice Ward, rolling some additional die and gaining a bunch of defense. That's in fact enough defense to defend us. I suspect invoking mana is a pretty good idea. But I'm also capable of doing 52 damage to a target as is. You gave me back a 5, so now I could invoke mana if I wanted to. I mean, thanks, but no thanks. I'll use Icicle Blade once. Ugh, I rolled too high to use Ice Ward this turn, unfortunately. Let's Ice Ward, Glaciate. That's 21 damage we're blocking this turn. 26. And I'll also use Polar Nexus. So thankfully we're avoiding the remaining damage by the Crone of Birth getting dodged. The Ghost Charm for dodge on turn 1 is incredible. Let's double cast Invoke Mana here. A 2 and a 2 into Ice Ward. A 4 gives us Glaciate. And just short of being able to take out 1 without doing anything here. Oh well. I'll overkill the frontliner. We roll an additional die, and it happens to be one that would allow for a Rime Hail if I wanted. That said. Oh, can't play more spells this turn. Right. Was running into the limit anyhow. Two 3s in Ice Ward gives us a reroll. I don't get a 3 from there, that's fine. Invoke mana, and that gives us a 3. Don't need to invoke mana that many more times, though. There's our Rime Hail for 54. Okay. I'm so much more comfortable pivoting away from the previous build now. In case Azure, Tether Azure, Riptide. Take Riptide. And I'll destroy the Icicle Blade. What? That doesn't give you the... Overcharged crystal, roll 10 die, sure. I'll take the shard. I'm going to put the shard in Riptide, and then I'm immediately going to destroy Riptide. I'm glad that I learned that on a run like this, where it cannot matter. But considering every other source of getting rid of a spell gives you back the shard, I thought... Alright, what do I want to do here? Primal using Fury for triple doesn't seem that bad. Keeping half of it gives me the ability to stack it pretty high. This is more initially explosive. This has more persistence. This also opens up the ability to use Countdown 6 as its trigger rather than a specific 3. I'm gonna regain half of the fury. Keep the party going. Pop a 5 into Invoke Mana here. Thankfully, I get a low roll, allowing me to use Ice Ward. Oh, great. Not only do I use Ice Ward... Oh, wow. Oh, this is great. I get to Glaciate. I also get to Chill Core twice, depleting that, weakening the enemies. And then, Polar Nexus. Rime Hail for... Inhibition! It's such a tiny counter over on the corner of the screen. If you're going to limit the amount of spells you can cast in a turn, I think that should be a lot more visible. 2 1s in Ice Ward. Thankfully rolls the additional die for us now. Great. I can throw a 4 into Glaciate Happy. And then a 6 back into Polar Nexus, increasing Fury yet again. I really wish there was a better way to navigate this turn. Ice Sword once, I'm going to double up on Glaciating a 2. Polar Nexus once. Oh, that should have been Chill Core in between. So 2 Rime Hails will take out 1 target from the board right now. Even though that's obviously not a priority right now. 1 in Chill Core, and then let's gain some more Fury back with the Snare. I mean, this way I do get to set both of them to a low HP value pretty early on. That's pretty good. Invoke Mana a couple of times that turn. I'm going to need to get rid of Invoke Mana. It's causing problems with inhibition. In fact, Ice Ward is also kind of doing the same. Yeah, I only need 2 3s to end this fight now. Oh, I got them, but then they cursed themselves. Well, I found A3 now. Oh my god. Killing that target rolled another 3, and that'll be the other Shadowfire twin down. And then that rolls another 3. Well done, Chaos Crystal. Some HP, some money, a shard, and Vex a die each turn. Gain an additional odd die each turn. On enemy death, receive 2 damage. I think I'm most fine here with enemy death, receive 2 damage, because I'm already intending consistently to over-defend. And rolling additional die each turn is very important to us. Let's gain as many additional shards as I'm capable of this turn. There is a late shop. Love to see that. The thing is, I don't need to open an additional slot. And the thing is, even more than that, realistically, I don't really need to do anything right now. Like, Akashic Aqua giving back 2 Icy dice probably doesn't change anything. Fallen X is accepting 6 broadly. Sure. I guess that could help on a turn where I can't generate a 6. But seeing as I have very few other things to invest 6s into, and I reroll a lot of dies, that's just not common. I don't think it's common enough to plan around. I'm gonna open the additional slot, put Cryogenesis in it. Yes, yes, you all have a bunch of power. Using this one is going to be well, I guess I can use an Ice Ward for 6 defense. Let's Cryogenesis 2 4s, making them icy. I'll use those both in Chill Core right now. Gain some block while weakening all of the enemies. Throw a 1 in Ice Ward, a 4 in Glaciate, a 6 in Polar Nexus. I'll be taking no damage this turn, but I've gained 27 Fury. Rime Hail, in fact, has enough damage now to instantly bop a target, so... Well, never mind, it just lowered past that. So instead of doing that this turn, I am now going to gain even more block. And a 1 and a 2 in Ice Ward will give us 2 additional die, as well as a bunch of block. Perfect. This 4 goes into Cryogenesis before it goes into Glaciate. And then this 2 goes into Cryogenesis before it and a 6 go into Akashic Aqua. And then I'll gain Spell Echo to double up on Polar Nexus. I think at this point, Rime Hail is set such that as soon as I roll a 3, I kill a target, roll an additional die, hopefully kill another target, and keep going like that. It'd look a lot like this. Ah, right. Ran out of them. That had to happen at some point. Thankfully, I have dodge, so I can actually just hit the enemy. Oh no, I spent the exact die I needed not to spend right there. Which now means I need to kill your friends to get to you. Just elongates the fight, thankfully. It's not going to actually cause us to take any damage. Grand. Mental Reservoir. As much as I like rolling a bunch of die, I don't think that helps. I don't think most of these help. I'm taking Mental Reservoir. It gives me at least something to invest a lot of my mana into if I run out of the ability to use anything else. And also to just desperately re-roll if all of the die are just tragic. Flip all die. Upside down. There's also +3 value to all die. Which, if I have a 6 on board, that gives me a 3 for using Rime Hail. And Manifold. Enchant 2 dice with Manifold, 2x value and countdown in X slots. I mean, it's okay for Glaciate. I'll take Fortune's Favor. Hello, Wrath Voidling, 2 Fierce Voidlings and a Guardian Voidling in backline. Oh, this is perfect. A 1, a 1, and a 2 will give us the Ice Ward. Pop a 4 into Cryogenesis before it goes into Glaciate. All the Nexus for 25 Fury, and now I can Rime Hail a target off the board. It should probably be the frontliner. So we're going to reroll the 1 via Cryogenesis. We do find a 4, which I can't invest. That's okay. All of those go into Mental Reservoir for a later turn. No, those dice are too high. How am I going to Mental Ward? Well, simply, 5 and a 6 in Mental Reservoir rerolls a bunch of stuff, and then Ice Ward. Yaha. 4 into Cryogenesis, and then that goes into Chill Core. Looking for 5 in Glaciate, another 4 in Chill Core, and then we'll finish up with a 6 in Polar Nexus. Setting us up for an appropriate Hail turn? Oh good gosh. If I can't kill with all of this value going on at the moment. 3 value to all additional die. That gives me everything I need for Ice Ward. Second turn gives me everything I need for Polar Nexus. And now it's just time to Rime Hail targets off the board. One target gone. Second target dead. And I'm through with the amount of spells I can cast this turn, so I'll set up a mental reservoir for a later turn. That's the Rime Hail. We initially rolled it, so I'll use it immediately. Got a shop in the next space if I recall correctly. It's either that or an elite. It's the elite. Vampiric Essence. Sure, I'll take that just in case my health ever fails. Focus Toxin Crush and Poison Fling. Sure, Focus Toxin. Not relevant. Orb of Infinity. With 4 power, so I was trying to do 42 damage here on turn 1. Yikes. I do not have weakness for you. But if I can defend against 24... No, it's 36 damage you're trying to do. If I can defend against 24 of it, then we will be okay. 5 goes into Glaciate. That'll do. Thankfully, my Ghost Charm keeps me healthy. I'm definitely going to be spawning more minions for you with the Ice Ward. We use Cryogenesis and Glaciate in order to gain more block and more fury. A 6 into Polar Nexus. And now I'm fine to use Rime Hail twice. One more time and I think we'll have it. This turn 3 with both Fortune's Favor and Spellbound coming up at the same time is absurd. Please roll a 3. Thank you for rolling a 3 so I can actually finish the fight, despite spending my opportunity to use the 3 at the opening now, what with the Fortune's Favor and all. That's another shard for us. Toxic Mist. Get rid of yourself. Dark Heart, apply 2 mark to all enemies, or another shard. Admittedly, I don't really see the value in additional shards at this point. I mean, casting Mental Reservoir on turn 1 might be a good opportunity, although it's very expensive. Marked enemies take 50% more damage. That seems significant. I'm gonna take Dark Heart. We'll roll that in the final fight. It'll contribute another 50 damage to one of our strikes. That'll be cool. One, 2. That's Ice Ward. Reroll. Ooh, we do generate a 3. Hell yeah. 5 in Glaciate. A 6 in Polar Nexus. And then Rime Hail's ready to go. Take your friend off the board. Yes, yes, you summon another one, but I'm in a better position on this second turn. Oh, 2 3s. I still have to put both of those into Ice Ward first. You don't manage to roll our way out of this. That's a 5 for Glaciate. A 2 goes in Cryogenesis. twice. And then into Mental Reservoir. Another 6 goes into Chill Core. And then I can gain even more Fury from Polar Vortex. And in fact, 2 3s next turn targeted directly against the Door to Beyond should get this done for us. We'll generate a 3 from a 6 using the +3, and then Spell Echo our Rime Hail. Unfortunately, Toxic Knowledge really wants to be used more than this amount of times, and it wants to be used early. Like, I'll take it, but I'm going to get rid of Contamination, and I'm not going to use Toxic Knowledge either. Hammer of Mana, -1 countdown to all spells each turn. I mean, it just makes Mental Reservoir slightly cheaper. Poison applied to enemies is increased by +1. And on health loss, gain delayed block equal to your health loss. That's really sad. Those are some really sad artifacts to find here. I'm going to take Hammer of Mana. And then I'm going to put Invoke Mana back into the build. I'm going to upgrade it so it's only got 1 countdown. And then every turn, Invoke Mana is automatically going to cast. For the first 3 turns, rather, Invoke Mana is automatically going to cast. And I think that will be pretty good. I mean, I'll take Skuldor and the Ring of Poison, but they're not going to do anything. Skuldor and the Ring of Poison does sound like a fantasy novel that isn't set in, like, you know, Norse Viking-y kind of times, but it is written for people from that time. Let's pop a 5 in Invoking Mana and see what we can do with this turn. Still not potent enough, unfortunately. 1, 2, 6 in Polar Nexus, and then I can prepare for the Mental Reservoir for a later turn. So thankfully here, Ice Ward is easy to deplete. Single investment will do it. There's even more via the Polar Nexus. Rime Hail the enemy, and they're not going to do any damage to us this turn. And thankfully next turn, Spellbound and Fortune's Favor are available. Fortune's Favor increases the die enough to generate low value die for the sake of things like Ice Ward, which does generate a 5. Nice to see. 5 at Invoke Mana. And then in Glaciate, I'll Chill Core twice. I'll Polar Nexus, and actually, I think now if I dupe the Rime Hail, we'll take the enemy out. And indeed we do. I wanted to find a kill that turn. Especially because now the Dark Heart is ready for the next fight. Flowing Mana, no. Spell. Channel is your... Sure. Demonic Seal. Each turn, gain Demonic Gift. Demonic Gift. When a die rolls X, apply 1 Rupture to all enemies. Not relevant. We'll take the Shard, put it in the Invoke Mana, as I said. And then the countdown is going to make our first 3 turns, which are the only turns that really feel a bit tough. Gonna make them each very easy. 1, 3, and 3. Hit Ice Ward. 2 6s. Hell yeah. We drop a 5 in Glaciate. I'm not gonna want to Rime Hail this turn. So I'm looking for... $16 to invest in Mental Reservoir, which is not possible. I can get pretty close though. In fact, it's set up to autocast in 2 turns' time. Hell yeah. 1, a 2, and a 3. Ugh, fulfill one of our options there. Now it's time to start Rime Hailing. We've only got 1 more spell we're capable of casting this turn. Do I want to Chill Core? Sure. Can't think of a great reason not to. We're gaining a Rupture for every 1 we roll. Let's get a 5 in Glaciate. Echo the hell out of the Polar Nexus. And I left myself without the ability to actually kill the enemy that turn. How embarrassing. I got too gung-ho. That's it. The enemy dies. Feeling pretty good. We've only got 1 more space, and that is a shrine. Frozen Shield. Woo. Let's get rid of that Frozen Shield. Nothing I need to really change for the Arcanax boss battle as far as I can see. We will gain our 3 power on turn 1 from Crystal Snort though. One, 3 into Ice Ward. Perfect. 8, 5 into Glaciate. A4, A4, and then a 6 in Polar Nexus at the end. Work towards the Mental Reservoir. Yeah, I'm more than comfortable just setting up on that turn. In fact, until I can dunk the enemy for 200 damage, maybe I shouldn't even use Rime Hail. This ward is readier than ever to be depleted. Twice here. Let's pull the Nexus, and then I don't need to do anything else that turn still. Oh, Invoke Mana got broken. Rough. Let's use Mental Reservoir. There we go. Now I'll add value to all of the die. We'll also Spell Echo Gaining more fury. Hit you with one Rime Hail, and you are going to change form now. But we still keep 55 fury after that Rime Hail. Mana has been invoked for the last available time. Well done, Mana. I don't have a 3 for actually casting any of this at the enemy, so we are looking for mostly defense. Unfortunately, we lose our Ghost Charm this turn. Top 2 5s in Mental Reservoir to roll a bunch of additional die here. Oh boy. Three 1s laundered through Ice Ward. Does roll us a 6. I'm glad to see that. Put a single 3 into Glaciate. That 6 then goes into Polar Vortex. And a single 3 takes the enemy to transformation between their phases. They will be able to hit us this turn, unfortunately. A 1 and a 2 into Ice Ward. Rolling 2 new additional die. There we go. Let's gain the potions effect this turn. Annoyingly, +3 value to all die is actually not really great here. For a lot of what we want to accomplish. I'm gonna cast Mental Reservoir with all these 6s, just seeing if I get a chill 3, and I do. Okay. Which means I can Glaciate, and then I can double up on Polar Nexus, allowing us to Rime Hail for 237 to finish off the enemy. They roll an additional die for us. Did Dark Heart ever trigger? We did get to level 10, and we have retrieved 10 shards from disenchanted spells. We did things. I mean, we won, but we also did more. Tomb of the Void has unlocked a new spell, and it's called Power Nexus. 6 countdown, 1 time a turn, gain 2 block. Increase by 1 for each power. Lose a power. Interesting. For the moment, my name is Rhapsody. The name of the game has been SpellRogue. Top left is the series playlist for all my contents of the game past, present, and future. YouTube recommendations down below. Streaming past are the names of the people so generously supporting the Republic on patreon.com/RhapsodyPlays at or above the thank tier. And a special thanks this episode to Jazzy. Hopefully you all have been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you all next time.